You're listening to Me and Paranormal You with your host, Ryan Singer. It's more fun to believe. Third year bonus. Bonus. And wow, we're recording. Welcome to Me and Paranormal You. This is your host, Ryan Singer. I've been away for a couple weeks, but if you've never listened to the program, welcome. I've been away for the entirety of your life until now. But here we are, united, my friend. And boy, oh boy, was I on a great rant about failure about 25 minutes into recording this podcast when I realized I wasn't recording it. Talk about onomatopoeia. That was very onomatopoeic behavior. And I know some people are out there and be like, Ryan, that's not onomatopoeia. Yes, it is. It's onomatopoeic. Talking about failure while failing is very onomatopoeic. No, it's ironic. No, it's onomatopoeic, my friend, and ironic. It can be both of those things together. Welcome. There's a lot I want to talk about. I want to talk about Rising Strong, the book by Dr. Brené Brown. I want to talk about updates on Florida investigation, Colorado investigation, and more. And failure. And why failure is important. And unfortunately, why it's inevitable. And also important. Okay, so golly, it's good to be back. I've been away for a couple weeks. My apologies if you're wondering what happened. I was driving back and forth across the country, taking in the sights and the sounds of this great country of ours. And and when the rubble settles from the apocalyptic meltdown that is seemingly happening all around us, around us and overseas, that our tax money is helping fund. I wonder, if people are just now realizing that their tax money has been feeding the military-industrial complex, the war hammer machine that's been around the world under the guise of the red, white, and blue for decades and decades and decades. The genocide that's happening in Gaza right now is shining a big light on that. And what can you do other than, not pay your taxes ever again? That's one thing we can do. We can just not pay our taxes because that's not where my money's going. That's not where I want my money to go. And we can also elect officials that refuse to accept such outcomes. So, in the world of the paranormal, things are still getting bonkers. Things are still going cray-cray. And more every day. I want to talk about Dr. Brené Brown's book, Rising Strong, because I listened to it in one day, driving across the country. It's a 9-hour audio book, and it is, if you can drive across the country listening to that book and weeping, I highly recommend it. My love affair with Dr. Brené Brown started over a decade ago on a Delta flight from probably somewhere in the Midwest to Los Angeles, California, which is typically a 5-hour flight if you can get it direct, if you're lucky enough. From Atlanta or Cincinnati to Los Angeles is about 5 hours direct. Now flying west to east, it's a little better. But east to west, because of the jet stream or whatever, you're going against the jet stream or something. I don't know. It takes an hour longer, which is, I guess it's worth it because you're going to the West Coast where it's warm and sunny most of the year. So anyway, Delta used to have something called Delta Radio where you plug in your headphones to the armrest. And there will be different stations on there. You can't really tell. You just kind of flip up and down and you hope you get something good. Actually, it may have just only been one. I don't even really remember. They had TED Talks. And so I plug in. I'm on a Delta flight. We take off. I plug into the armrest. I always take Dramamine because I get motion sick in vehicles. I can't read or write or do anything on a plane or in a car, things like that. I just get really, really sick. So I take Dramamine and hope I sleep. So I'm a window aisle guy, and I sleep on the wall. And, where the window is, I close the window shades and I try to zonk out for 5 hours if I can, if I'm lucky. Dramamine sometimes helps, as long as you don't get the non-drowsy kind. So next thing you know, I plug in, I'm listening to Delta Radio, and it's a TED Talk station. And someone is talking about vulnerability. And the key to human connection is being vulnerable. And I catch the second half, the last 1/3 of it. I'm like, wow, this was interesting. I got wow, what am I listening to? This is like profound stuff. And then it ends, and I'm like, damn. And then it just repeats. It's on a loop. And so it plays again. And I hear it from the beginning. Dr. Brené Brown talking about her research into vulnerability and human connection. And she's also a big shame researcher. She's incredible. And I listen to this from the beginning to the end. And it moves me so deeply that I'm crying. It opens my eyes to the importance of vulnerability and human connection. And it makes me file through all the folders of my life and my past relationships and their failures and how I was too boarded up, or I wasn't vulnerable enough. I was afraid to be my true authentic self, and in fear of being rejected because of a perceived weakness that I might have, of just not being a strong man or something, right? Because I'm scared and I cry and I'm worried and I filled with self-doubt and imposter syndrome, all these things, right? I have to be a man, right? And I'm realizing, oh my God, I come from a family that doesn't talk a bunch, right? Long line of stoic men. And so I'm just like, okay, this is really eye-opening, and it's also tear duct opening, and I'm weeping at like 30,000 feet in the air. I'm crying. And I'm like, vulnerability is the key to connection between human beings. We're all just in this together, and we're all just these emotional fucking water balloons, man. And we have to let out the pressure. We have to let out the valve, and then we'll have a pool of water, and we'll just be, floating around. It'll be great. And so I look to the person next to me, who I haven't spoken to yet, not once. And we've been in the air for, I don't know, an hour. And I look to them with tears in my eyes and on my face. And I say, vulnerability, you know what I mean? And they look at me like I'm Ted Bundy. They look at me like I just told them I wanted to eat their brain or something. And that's when I realized, oh shit, they're not listening to the TED Talk. I'm just some like bearded, bushy-haired guy, because I'm sure I look like a maniac to a lot of people. It was probably a super early flight, and I got this huge head of hair and crazy beard, and I look at him and I'm just like, vulnerability, you know what I mean? And I'm crying, and they're probably just like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like, who is this crazy person? And it just goes to show that, how sometimes like a little bit of the poison is the antidote. I think sometimes a little bit of the cure can be the poison, right? So me being totally vulnerable in that moment, probably the most vulnerable I've ever been with a total stranger, was something that created the antithesis of human connection. It made them want to shut down any chance of connection in the moment and forever with me. They're like, oh my God, please never talk to me again. If they could have parachuted off the plane, if they had an eject lever, they would have pulled it. They would have been out of that plane. They would have been gone. Because we had another 4 hours next to each other. Now I'm just a guy who cried and said something to a stranger, and they looked at me like I was a fart. You know what I mean? Like I burped on that in their face, or something. Like they looked at me like with this horrified look. And now I have to just sit there in my shame for 4 hours, wiping the tears away, wondering all the different things that this stranger is thinking about me, and surprised they didn't hit the call button to get the flight attendant over to have me removed. Wow. And that's when my love affair with Dr. Brené Brown began, that TED Talk. And I've listened to it since, and it's incredible. So I've got the Libby app, which is the library app, and you can do audiobooks for free. And so Glendale Library doesn't have it, doesn't cooperate with the Libby app, which is crazy. I've got multiple library cards. I'm a Renaissance man, right? I'm a gentle type of a man who has library cards and moisturizes his feet. Okay, so I got the Burbank City Library card as well. So luckily they're on there, and they had a couple Brené Brown books. I got Daring Greatly and I got Rising Strong. And I want to tell you a little bit about Rising Strong because that's the one I've listened to. Now, Rising Strong is incredible. It's how the ability to reset transforms the way we live, love, parent, and lead. Rising Strong, the reckoning, the rumble, the revolution. If we are brave enough, often enough, we will fall. This is a book about what it takes to get back up. Here's a little snippet of it, or a little synopsis. Walking into our stories of hurt can feel dangerous, but the process of regaining our footing in the midst of struggle is where our courage is tested and our values forged. Our stories of struggle can be big or small, but regardless of their magnitude or circumstance, the Rising Strong process is the same. We reckon with our emotions and get curious about what we're feeling. We rumble with our stories until we get to a place of truth, and we live this process every day until it becomes a practice and creates nothing short of a revolution in our lives. Rising strong after a fall is how we cultivate wholeheartedness. It's the process that teaches us the most about who we are. So, yeah, I'm on board with this book, right? So I click play when I leave Flagstaff, Arizona. 9 hours later, I am, Shamrock, Texas, I think. Or, yeah, there were 10 minutes of the book I did not finish before I checked into the hotel. So I finished the last 10 minutes in the hotel room. And boy, oh boy, if you ever want to cry while driving alone across this beautiful country, I recommend this book. Oh, it was a hell of a drive and an incredible book. And the idea about being vulnerable and, the bravery that it takes to be vulnerable, and to be vulnerable with ourselves and to be honest with ourselves and to have integrity about boundaries and other things. But at the heart of this, it's about getting back up. If we are brave enough, often enough, we will fall. Failure is inevitable. Now, what does that mean? It just means we're going to fail. Oh my God, have I failed so much. I failed recording the first go at this episode. I failed, but I was brave enough and I started it again. The point is, failure has been such a big part of my life. I have embraced it. See, I live with the uncertainty of not knowing a year from now how I'm going to put food on the table. I live with that uncertainty, and I've lived with it for 20 years, or ever since I decided to go into the arts and to go into stand-up comedy. I have uncertainty. It's a huge part of my fabric, the fabric of my being. The paranormal is all about uncertainty. Dr. Dean Radin says, and I'm summarizing, that when asked about why more psychologists don't go into parapsychology, he says they're scientists. They can't live with the uncertainty of parapsychology, because parapsychology is a field of uncertainty. It's studying the uncertain, the in-between, the unknown, the supernatural, the mystical, the paranormal. Uncertainty is a part of our lives, right? And when we realize that the one thing that is certain is failure, that is daunting. That can be very daunting. It can be intimidating, and it can make us want to stop, quit, give up. Fuck this, pack it up. I get it. I have failed so many times. I have failed in my career and my personal life. I have failed in, grand ways. I have failed in very small, unseen ways. There's, relationships have crumbled. Career opportunities have drifted away. I have not achieved the career that, what's the best way to say this? I guess I'm not where I thought I'd be. Right. And I don't know if anybody ever really is. I don't know. There might be some exceptions to that. I didn't think I would be a guy who was doing paranormal investigations and editing paranormal documentaries when, I first moved to Los Angeles 13 years ago. I didn't think, I'd have a paranormal podcast for over 10 years. I am not where I thought I'd be. I thought I'd be, I thought I'd own $1 million home or something by now and probably have a couple kids. I mean, that's just me being honest. I don't have either one of those. I don't have children, and I don't have $1 million home. Now, does that mean I'm unhappy? No, not at all. I've grieved the loss of certain aspects of a life that I thought I would have. That's a big thing that Brené Brown talks about. Is grief is a huge part of failure, and it's not really talked about. You have to grieve the loss of something. And when we lose something, when we fail at something, we have to grieve because we lost it. We didn't do or get or become the thing we thought we would do, get, or become. And that we have to grieve that. There's a grieving process. And it's okay. It's okay to be sad. And it's fucking okay to be sad. So just remember that. We all get, everybody hurts sometimes, everybody. But I cried so much listening to this book. It's so damn good. But we have to get back up. But not only that, we have to learn about ourselves. That's the interesting part about all this, about this rising strong process. What are these stories we're making up in our head about ourselves? Or about why other people are doing certain things? Let's get to the bottom of it and find out where and why our self-worth might be lacking. And realize that we are enough regardless of the superficial achievements or accumulation of material things. None of this dictates your worthiness, doesn't dictate my worthiness. For many years now, I've talked about how I think the key to happiness and true success is defining what those things are for yourself, not letting the outside world do that. And that still stands true for me. And if you listen to this podcast, you also know that I have been pretty much ever since I read The Lucifer Effect by Dr. Philip Zimbardo, the scientist who conducted the Stanford prison experiments. That's his book, and it's very fascinating. It's about that. Ever since I read that book, which is probably 7 or 8 years ago now at least, I have been fascinated with the examination of one's true character. And I believe that one's true character is found when they are under duress and things are not going well. And, it's easy for everyone to be the greatest person in the world when everything is going right. It's very easy to be magnanimous when everything goes your way. Is the same person able to be magnanimous, loving, forgiving, and friendly when everything seems to be going the wrong way, going against us? Can I behave in a way that I truly wish I could behave? Can I make the same actions when my life has gone to shit as I could when all of my dreams are coming true? That is when we see what a person is made of. And I don't think a person is made of, they're not just born made of something and they have to uncover it like they're dusting it off like an archaeologist with a brush in the desert somewhere, uncovering some magnanimous bone, right? It is, are we on a journey of self-discovery? Are we Are we learning things? Are we hearing things? Are we observing things that we realize that we admire in other people, that we wish that we could do ourselves? Do we want to be that? And can we bring ourselves to work at it? I suppose, and which is not easy to do all the time. It's just not, at least from my perspective. So yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't have $1 million house, and I don't have these great kids running around doing great things, but even though I'm in crippling financial debt, I still feel like I'm a I try to be a positive guy. Even though I'm being crushed by a mountain of financial debt, that I still feel like, as Atlas holds up this globe on his shoulders that happens to just be bills that are due, I feel like he's still smiling over here. Oh my God, it's such a good book. It's such a good book. I cannot recommend it enough. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about Florida. We're going to talk about Colorado. I'm going to read for you the Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted, which Brené Brown has written as a part of Rising Strong, this incredible book, because I believe that you deserve to hear the Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted, because you, in fact, are the brave and brokenhearted. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer, $3 a month, no commercials. Doesn't that sound grand? And we're back, everyone. Thank you again for listening to the program, and my apologies for the sporadic release schedule. I've got good news. I don't remember if I even talked about it, but I do have a new place to live in Los Angeles, California, and I'll be, back home very, very soon. That is wonderful news for me. I've been floating around. Part of me thought I was just going to trade in the Camry, get a larger vehicle, and then have a mobile office until probably September or October, and camp out in state parks and national parks and just kind of get like a Wi-Fi hotspot. I decided not to do that. I mean, I will be doing tour dates this summer. I've got a couple. I've got like Eureka, California. I've got booked for, I think, the 19th and 20th of July. I'll be going up to Santa Cruz. There's a haunted hotel place kind of thing up there I'll be performing at. I'm very excited about that. And there, I'll be doing Go Bananas. I'm trying to record. I'm not trying. I will be recording a new comedy album later this year. So obviously I'll keep you posted about that. I'll be adding dates and, all kinds of things coming up here in the near future. And I'll keep you posted. But in the meantime, welcome back to the show. Let's get back to it. I want to read you the Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted. This is by Brené Brown. I believe in 2020 she wrote this. Let's see. It's kind of hard for me to read because it's so tiny, but I got my glasses on. Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted. Well, actually, I am going to try to increase the size of this. This is bonkers how small it is. Okay. There is no greater threat to the critics and cynics and fearmongers than those of us who are willing to fall because we have learned how to rise. With skinned knees and bruised hearts, we choose owning our stories of struggle, over hiding, over hustling, over pretending. When we deny our stories, they define us. When we run from struggle, we are never free. So we turn toward truth and look it in the eye. We will not be characters in our own stories, not villains, not victims, not even heroes. We are the authors of our lives. We write our own daring endings. We craft love from heartbreak, compassion from shame, grace from disappointment, courage from failure. Showing up is our power. Story is our way home. Truth is our song. We are the brave and brokenhearted. We are rising strong. Wow. We are the authors of our lives, right? Like when it says like not villains, not victims, not even heroes. You're like, whoa, 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 I'm not a hero in my story. It's like, no, you're the author. You are the author. Okay. So I love the idea that we craft love from heartbreak, compassion from shame, grace from disappointment, courage from failure. These are big things, right? And if this becomes a practice in a way of life, I think it is revolutionary in our own lives. And, I look forward to doing my damnedest, to try to do that myself. And, I have to get the physical copy of this book because there's like things, I want to remember that I don't want to have to keep going back. And, imagine trying to scrub through 9 hours of audio to try to find the page you're looking for, right? In an audiobook. And not to mention you don't get these audiobooks for more than like a week or two from the library, which is always weird. It's a digital file. Shouldn't all of us be able to listen to it as much as we want? Or is it a thing where if we're all listening to it, then our place always gets lost because different people are in different places? Like if you share, a streaming account and someone's watching the same show, you can see that it's already been watched. And so you have to like try to click start from the beginning before it ruins the very end. Maybe it's like that. I don't know. You think the technology would be as such to where we wouldn't have to worry about it. But what a beautiful book. What a beautiful person. I love Dr. Brené Brown, and I always have and I always will. And wow, we craft love from heartbreak. I mean, I was president of the Sad Boy Milkshake Club for a while after my last relationship ended, and I needed to float around. I needed to, hit rock bottom when I had COVID diarrhea at a rest stop in the middle of Utah where I was pooping on rocks or something. Like I needed that, right? I needed to just be president of the Sad Boy Milkshake Club for a minute. I mean, we're allowed to be sad. And I told myself, hey, I'm allowed to be sad, right? This is me being vulnerable, by the way. Anyway, so, we're allowed to be sad. There's no reason for us to ignore our emotions and the things we feel. Try to remove judgment, I suppose. That's another big thing. People who are happy with themselves aren't judging other people. So anytime you hear me start to judge somebody, like whether it's Elon Musk or Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm obviously working through some shit. Yeah, I wish they behaved in different ways. I do, but what does it say about me? I got to rumble with this story. You know what I mean? I gotta, I gotta reckon with what it says about me. And I got to rumble with the story about it. And then hopefully I have a revolution and I learn something. So, but yeah, so, I got nothing but love for Elon Musk and Neil deGrasse Tyson. And, I just want to be that guy who truly, truly, truly can just love everyone, right? And understand that, like Brown says in the book, like through her therapist, like, I think for the most part, everybody's doing the best they can. And when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, wow. You see, I kind of have tried to adopt that previously without like having said those exact words in certain aspects. Like if someone's driving like a maniac on the highway, I just pretend like they go to poop. You know what I mean? Like, hey, good luck to you, friend. I hope you can find a toilet. So I'm like, that's kind of in a way, that's kind of like everyone's doing the best they can. Everybody's just got to try to find the can, that's been kind of my motto. But, yeah, so it's just nice to be back and talking with you. So I will be going back to Florida here very soon, probably within the month, if not roughly around that time frame, potentially to continue the investigation. There's been updates on that. I can't discuss them at this time. I'm still editing the Colorado documentary, obviously, and then I am working on a couple different books. One of them is my book, and one of them is a book for Carolyn, who lives in Florida. So those are going to be moving to a higher priority on my plate in my life's work here for the next couple weeks as I get ready to relocate. Now, I moved almost all of my stuff back to the West Coast at this point, Now I've got just a couple bags that fit in my Camry and my baseball cards. And so I'm trying to consolidate my baseball cards. You can go to my eBay store. It's just search Rysing, Rysing. If you're into baseball cards and listen to this, which who knows? I got 175 baseball cards for sale. God, I'd love to sell every single one of them. Anyway, I will be going back to Florida. I will be communicating with portals. Now, let me tell you, now I'm laying this out over and over and over again on the podcast because I just want to make sure that, I'm kind of working this out as I go. But we will be, okay, let's go back to why, first of all, I'm thirsty for orbs. Yes, I'm thirsty for lights in the sky. I really, really want to see him. And I'm also so into the idea of portals, and because here's why. If it is in fact true, which I believe 100% that it is, that portals exist and are a real thing, and these interdimensional portals, or whatever we want to call them, that they are naturally occurring and potentially can be created by human beings subconsciously or on purpose, which I also believe is true. What does that mean? What are the implications of a person being able to create portals means? That means the government's going to be very interested. And these portals and these people, right? Stands to reason. So, if there's also naturally occurring portals in this world around us, if I was the government or a group that was, curious about such things, I would be trying to locate all of these portals. There's conspiracy theories, and people suspect that the Iraq invasion of Iraq was mostly about that. Maybe the United States has invaded or put, bases around the world that contain portals. Maybe they, identified locations of portals or close to portals and set up shop around them, things like that. I'm not so sure we were that advanced, right? I think a lot of this is hey, we're all trying to figure this out kind of situation. That's where I stand on the idea of the understanding of portals for the most part. Now, granted, this is just a civilian speaking. And boy, oh boy, do I have an interview that I will be conducting tomorrow afternoon, dropping next week, with someone who may or may not used to be part of the government, who is going to discuss some stuff. Let's just say that. So I'm very, very excited about that. But back to the portal talk. So, what did I say I was going to call it? One too many portals, or just another day, another portal. Anyway, one portal at a time. The happy portals. Okay, we get it. You're just doing old 80s and 90s sitcoms and putting portal into the title. Yeah, that's what I'm doing because that's fun to do. It's a fun brain game. Okay, we get it. New York Times Tony over here thinks he can just play games with everything. Okay, settle down. Silver portals. Okay, or portal spoons. Either one works. So I believe that portals are naturally occurring. I also believe that people can create portals either on purpose or without even realizing it. So what does that mean? What are the implications of the things that are able to go into or come out of these portals? Can they stay? And if they can stay, for how long? Indefinitely or for short periods of time? I think that is a very interesting question that I don't know the answer to. Now, in addition to this, in my obsession with portals, my portal session would be that I believe, according to certain reports about portals moving away from people when they try to find them, and some just, other whimsical thought processes like Christopher Nolan does when he's writing a movie about space and weird concepts. He just kind of thinks about it. He doesn't do any research. Come on, get out of here. He just kind of think about it and what would my, okay. But, and maybe he does. I love Christopher Nolan movies. So by the way, Chris, if you're listening, love your movies, but come on, you don't do any research? Come on. Okay, no, I believe you because I don't do any research on portals. But here's where I've gotten. Portals are sentient. Portals have independent intelligence. They can or cannot potentially have personalities. I got personality. What? Personality. Hey. But okay. So I'm not over here saying that hey, I'm a portal, my name is Steve. Okay. Now that would be an interesting character to have Steve the Portal. Although we did have the Hole from the TV show The Range. It was on a previous episode. But Steve the Portal, maybe I'll interview Steve the Portal one of these days on the program. So anyway, no, I'm not saying they have distinct personalities where one portal likes baseball and the other one likes cats. That's not what, we're not getting that deep into it. We're not getting that into the minutia of, the detail that much at this point. But I do believe that they have an intelligence and there's a sentience, potentially, there's an independence of intelligence and thought associated with portals, that they're not all necessarily connected to one another as I want to say a Connect 4 board would be. They are like the chips you would put into the Connect 4 board, right? So not that they aren't connected, because I believe we're all connected through consciousness. Now, these portals also, if I believe that consciousness is the foundation and constitutes the base programming or the fundamental, isness of all things, I love that word, isness, like is-ness. I didn't make it up, and I don't remember where I read it, but boy, do I love isness. Oh, I would give isness the business. Do you understand? Okay, let's not take it there. It doesn't always have to go romantically or sexually. Yeah, I would give isness the business. Okay, we get that you would do that. I don't know who's saying that, but you need to relax, I do love isness, though. I love that word, isness. So consciousness makes up the foundation of the isness of all things. Now, is this woo-woo enough for you wild ones? Where are my woo-woo wild ones at? I know there's a few of you out there. I'm a woo-woo wild one. Is this enough woo-woo wackadoo for you? That portals have the isness of consciousness, or consciousness is the isness of portals. So understanding that the isness of portals is consciousness, and the isness of Ryan Jeffrey Singer is consciousness, and the isness of you is consciousness. That's a really big factor to have in common with one another, and therefore establishes a common ground and a basis for communication. And boy, oh boy, did we just get lucky, because consciousness is the key to communication. Oh, wow. Now you're really dripping it for me. Yes. So if consciousness is the key to communication, right, which I believe that it is, and it's also the foundation of the isness of all of us and all things, which I believe it is. There's some strange things happening outside this window right now, by the way. There's like an unmarked strange van, and there's men with flashlights, and they're at the neighbors. If I see someone like moving out like a body-shaped trash bag with duct tape around it, there's going to be a situation. See, even their isness is consciousness, right? Oh, it's a dog in there. That's not a person. Oh, it's a cute little puppy. Anyway, so I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. So I'm talking about the isness of things. So when we go back to Florida, and even before then, BT dubs, by the way, we will be establishing contact with these portals. And I did say we will be establishing contact with these portals, not trying to establish contact with these portals. Because here's the thing. If we choose to do so, we will do so, right? Because it's just in our isness to do so. So we are going to communicate with these portals. Now, what will we get? What information will be exchanged from person to portal and from portal to person? I don't know the second part. But if we can get information directly from the portal's mouth, don't look a portal horse in the mouth, right? But we are going to. So if we can get direct information from the portal about the nature of its existence, of how it even prefers to communicate, and And here's the kicker. How it works. Instead of trying to figure out how portals work, ask the portal how it works. Okay, when we come back, I'm going to take a quick break because can't you just see me working in a secret government lab, just like pitching this idea? You just got to ask the portal, hey, how do you work? And then the portal will tell us. And there's like 3 generals and colonels sitting around just like smacking their head like, oh my God, who invited this woo-woo wild one? And I'd be like, I heard that because our isness is connected. And then the one's going to go, he's talking about isness again. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer, $3 a month. No commercials. No commercials. No commercials. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if made a photo? And I'm back, baby, and I'm back, and I've never felt better to be back right now in this moment. Well, I'm feeling kind of like I got 7-year-old energy right now. So we're talking about the isness of portals, being consciousness, talking about communicating with portals. We will be communicating with these portals. We've got a loose framework of how we're going to do it in our first attempt, my buddy Matthew Jackson and I. And I've also been in communication with my buddy Eric Connor and Ed Brown and Dan Lindholm about these things. We've got plans, baby. We've got plans that are getting machinations put into place. Once the machinations of the paranormal experiment have begun, they cannot be stopped. So we're going to be engaging these machinations of the paranormal, which cannot be... Okay, that's a fun voice to do. Try it. I'm going to make scrambled eggs and turkey bacon for breakfast. Wow, that sounds like a pretty good breakfast. And then the Autobots shall rule the... Wait, I thought the Autobots were the good guys. The Decepticons want you to have pig bacon. The Autobots want you to have turkey bacon. Is this turning into an Optimus Prime impression? I am not Optimus Prime. Optimus? Are you Optimus Prime? You're like a robot that turns into an otter. You like to swim. You're equally agile on land as in water, but not as big, bulky, and deadly as a polar bear. I am Optimus Prime. Okay, we get it. I was going to say go build a dam, but that's beavers. Otters are capable of building... Okay, okay, I'm sure they build things too. Optimus Prime showed up. You just never know what you're going to get over here. On this program, you just never know what you're going to get on this program. I tell you, I'm the guy who kind of always is laughing when he talks. That's just who I am. Okay, so you're laughing, Larry? That seems like an oversimplification of my personality. But I got to tell you, my name happens to be Larry, and I'm laughing a lot. Okay, so Laughing Larry it is. I gotta tell you, it's funny how quickly you come up with those. I mean, maybe it's not that funny. It's pretty easy to do, but you just love consonants and alliteration, don't you? Yes, I do. It's just always been a thing that's been close to my heart is consonants and alliteration. Oftentimes people just think it's all alliteration when there's a lot of consonants that also is happening. I just can't tell you how much I love that. You're one of my favorite new people, Laughing Larry. And can I call you Double L? Oh, Double L. I love that. Oh, love and Laughing Larry. Triple L. Okay, love Laughing Larry. Larry, I'd love to chat and laugh with you some more, but I got to get back to this program that apparently it never has had very much vision and or I don't know. Focus? Is that the word I'm looking for? Focus. Oh, God, you're killing me. Okay, Laughing Larry, you really are, You're making me fall in love with the idea of being alive again, Laughing Larry. So thank you for that. So these portals, we're going to communicate with these portals, and we are going to get information about how they work, where they work, and just like what's up with them, right? Like, say, just walk up to a portal and be like, "So, what's up with you, portal? My name's Ryan. Do you want to tell me what's up with you? Like, what's the deal, portal? What's the deal with portals?" So, Paranormal Seinfeld. That would be a funny character. So, okay, somebody write that down and message it to me, please. I'm never going to remember Paranormal Seinfeld. But so, imagine, if you will. Let's eventually try to land this plane. Imagine, if you will, a world in which we are communicating with portals and therefore getting the instruction manual from the thing itself, right? Imagine if you could just talk to an IKEA bookcase after you open the box and be like, "How do I put you together?" And the bookcase says, "Well, I can't do a Swedish fucking accent. I don't even know what that would be, and I don't want to just be racist, against other white people." So anyway, imagine that can happen. So we're going to get these portals to give us information about how they work, what's their nature, what they're doing, and things like that. Can you imagine the breakthrough? That's a breakthrough right there. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to put our names on statues, okay? They're definitely going to put our names on statues. Once we learn how to talk to portals, are you kidding me? Okay, have I lost every last shred or grain or fiber of me that was somewhat grounded in reality? Have I just become, is it like a full moon woo-woo wild one now? Has this whole 10-year process been just a cycle of the moon going full to now where I'm just where woo-woo wild one wolf? Wow, we got that one in, didn't we? So, do you also have fun talking to yourself out loud when you're alone? And if you don't, I just really don't know who you are, because everyone I know does it. Some people just don't have alone time. Some people don't have enough alone time to really lean into it. But I know you do it. I know you do it. Don't you do it? Can you imagine? This is me like kind of tickling you. Like, I know you do it. Like you're a little baby. Okay. So, God, I'm trying to be serious over here. I'm talking about what could be like the most profound scientific breakthrough in the history of mankind. And I'm over here like I'm tickling you like a baby. See, that's why we love this show, right? Because it takes all kinds. No, I honestly don't think it's like the greatest science. I mean, the creation of fire, I think, is probably up there with greatest scientific breakthroughs of all time. I would say the harnessing of the power of the sun might be at the top of the list. So, we're going to communicate with portals. We're going to figure them out. We're going to have a relationship with portals. We're going to be vulnerable to portals, and we're going to share things with each other. And here's the question I'd like to pose. If, in fact, you were able to activate, turn on, don't be creepy, turn on, I said don't be creepy, so you can turn it on like a light switch, but it's a sentient thing, and you could use or enter or walk into, utilize a portal without having a ton of information about where you're going. That's the key here. So you are walking through a passageway where you're not sure really at all where the passageway leads. Do you, knowing that it may be the only time you are ever afforded the opportunity, do you walk through into that portal, not being assured of a return and having additionally no assurances or information about what's on the other side? Or if there even is an other side, right? We always think that there's another side, like you're going to somewhere. But what if it's not even really anywhere you're going? What if it's just something you're doing? Does that even make sense? I'm over here with like a scrunched face as I talk about this for the first time out loud. Like, does that even make sense, man? Does it even make sense? That guy feels like he might be back someday. We'll give him a name another time. But does it even fucking make sense, man? We're not going to do a consonant. We're not going to do an alliteration for this. But that doesn't make sense, man. Okay. It's okay. I got to talk this guy down. But it doesn't make sense. I know. But maybe there's not... Can you tell I've been in a car for 4,700 miles in the last 9 days? Can you tell? Does that register? Is that registering for you? But it doesn't make any fun. I know it doesn't. To you right now. To me. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be judgmental in the way I said that. Maybe there's not another side when you walk through this portal. Maybe you're not going to another place necessarily, another X on a map. Maybe you're just going into another thing. Maybe you're just, it's a travel, I don't even know what that means, right? But I think it's a very bold assumption to think that walking through a portal is just like walking from a living room into a kitchen, as if it's a door frame. I think that's a bold assumption. I'm not willing to make that assumption. You could change. It could change you. Maybe you become a part of something when you walk through it, right? Like a cheese grater, but like not painful. Okay, I'm not trying to make this scary, but you're given no assurances about where you're going. You're given, no promises about your safety. Do you? That's the point. This whole thing started before. Confused Carl got involved. I said I wasn't going to do it, and I did it. I gave him a name. I've named too many people. There's too many new characters in this episode. I can't keep track. Maybe you're writing them down. I don't know. If you did, let me know who they are, because I won't remember. And I don't go back and listen to these. So anyway, do you walk through that portal? The answer might not be as simple as you think. I don't know what my answer is, because I'm a scaredy cat. Because I am a scaredy cat. So, now granted, do I go and do things that are scary? Do I confront my fear? Yeah, sure, I guess, after years of therapy. But I'm a scaredy cat. It doesn't change the fact that I'm a scaredy cat. I don't know if I walk through or into a portal, if it's presented to me. Now, would I have a lifetime of regret if I chose not to, and I was never afforded the opportunity to do so again? You bet your sweet tush. I would go to bed every night. The last thing I would think about was, I should have went through the portal. Every time rent was due, I'd be like, I should have went through the portal. Every time my cell phone bill came due, I should have went through the portal. Every time I'm hungry and there's no food around, I should have went through the portal. Right? Was that Paranormal Seinfeld? I should have went through the portal. So I would regret it every day, every afternoon, every early morning, every late evening, every late night. I would regret. I'd be staying in the buffet line at Golden Corral, and I'd have this faraway look in my eyes, and the person working there would be like, "Sir, excuse me, sir, do you want gravy? Sir, did you want gravy? Sir, excuse me, did you want gravy?" And I would be thinking, I should have went through the portal. He'd be like, "Sir," and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I will take the portal. I'm sorry, what? Do you want gravy? Oh, yeah, sorry. I was thinking about how I should have went through a portal. Yes, I'll take all the gravy, please. Give me all the gravy. All of it. To drown my sorrow from not going through the portal. Now, knowing that, I probably still wouldn't go through the portal. But would you? Let's get Dom Herrera over here to be like, I didn't go through the portal, but would you? I don't. Do you? One of the most legendary taglines in stand-up comedian history. I don't. Do you? So I don't know. I'd like to think I would go through the portal, but I'm not sure I would. So that's what we're going to do, though. We're going to figure out how to go through the portal. That's what we are going to do. And then the rest is just, the rest is up for making it up in the moment. Live your life. Like, what if I have a kid on the way? I don't have a kid on the way. But what if you did? Then I'd probably think twice about going through a portal if I had a kid on the way. But think about science. I am thinking about science. But think about your podcast. Oh, I know. I would probably get like 49 more listens if I had an episode about how I actually went through a portal. I know. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, it would actually. So, for patrons only. Can you imagine if I had evidence of like the first full body apparition ghost interview ever done that is indisputable by science and in fact proven to be an ethereal being? And I'm like, it's only for patrons. I'm sorry. It's only for patrons. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do that to you. I'd give it away for free. I'm going to give this one away for free, ad-free on the Patreon. We're going to let everybody get a little taste of the free stuff. I'm going to wrap this up because, boy, oh boy, I'm going to take like another shower. Maybe I'll go to the gym. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Maybe I'll just get on the gym and just get on the treadmill for a couple hours, start listening to Daring Greatly by Brené Brown audiobook, another one that I have queued up. Please, if you haven't, check out Rising Strong by Dr. Brené Brown. And if you haven't, listen to the TED Talk. I'll try to link these in the links. For you. The TED Talk about vulnerability is incredible. Immediately after that, watch Liz Gilbert's about the muse and creativity and genius. Those two back to back. I mean, of course, Brené Brown and Liz Gilbert, if they're not friends, if they're not having coffee together, the world is a cruel, cruel place. We know that. You don't have to look further than the main news story that's happening every fucking day. And it's just heart goddamn breaking to know that the world's fucking cruel. But don't let your tax money be part of that cruelty. It's fucking aggravating. Be light, be love. Be light, be love. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. So I do have some tour dates. They'll be filing in because we're going to record an album. We're going to film it this summer, at the end of the summer probably. I'll have more information about that. I think I'm going to call it like Whimsy Till Death or something along the lines. Or maybe it's just Ryan Singer Whimsy. Whimsy over all else, or who knows? Maybe I'll call it Woo Woo Wild One. Or maybe I'll call it stand-up comedy light. Like find the light. Stand-up comedy can be beautiful. It can be uplifting. It doesn't have to be dark and roasting. There are aspects of it. There is the yin and the yang. It can also be beautiful and light and uplifting and encouraging. It doesn't always have to be punching down and things like that. You can punch up towards the light. I choose to punch up towards the light. I hope you come see me do stand-up comedy. I am unhinged, which means I've never been better. I love you. I hope you love yourself. I mean that. We need more love, and I think we're getting there. I remain hopeful for the human creature. The world can get us down, but ooh, ooh, ooh. I, like Dr. Brené Brown, believe that all of us are capable of rising strong. What a damn good book. Thank you for writing it. Jesus. If I ever meet her, I'm just going to be like, I love you. That's all you need to know. I'm not going to be weird about it, but please hug me. And if you don't want to hug me, I get it. No takesy backsies, but I still love you. But we have to hug for 30 seconds because a hug doesn't count unless it's like the transference of energy happens after 30 seconds. You try to tell people that and you're fucking weird-ish. I was trying to tell somebody that the other day. I was at a wedding. I didn't know them. I think he was kind of like, I don't think I need to be hugging a stranger for 30 seconds. I was like, but I'm telling you, the transfer of energy, it doesn't happen unless it's 30. Vulnerability, you know what I mean? I hope to see you at a stand-up comedy show sometime. If not, I'll just see you at the watering hole on the astral plane.